going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So instead of working on any of the Miatas or any of the mini bike projects, we're actually going to be working on a couple of engines today. So it's still somewhat related to what I got going on, but it's more of kind of planning for a future project, kind of something I've always was stirring up in my head for a while now. So this would be a good start at least. So kind of the gist is I picked all four of these motors up for $80. Kind of don't talk about it, just pick them up, come pay me, and walk away. So I really have no information on any of these motors, and some of y'all might say it's a good deal, some of y'all might say I'm fucking crazy, which I think I'm a little crazy too, because I'm looking at these now and going, damn, what did I get myself into? I could have probably just bought a decent running motor for the same price, but at the same time, I get all the parts and kind of can build something that's my own. So I'm looking at these motors. I got four motors here. They're all 13 horsepower, 420cc powerhouses. I'm not really too sure. And I got a bunch of parts. I also got a bunch of parts that came off that motor, but I don't think I need the head or like the side cover or whatever. So don't really worry about that. But I'm looking at four of these, and I'm kind of just seeing what my options are. So far, I only have one potential motor that's actually worth putting some time and money into, and that's that one here. As you can tell, this one's definitely pretty much too far gone. It's been sitting outside for a long time, bunch of dirt, side covers cracked open, but it does have electric start with the starter and flywheel. So I'm really hoping I can salvage those parts off and kind of put them onto one of these motors here. This one definitely looks a little bit better. All the parts are there, but the only thing that's missing is the spark plug. Kind of hard to see, but way down there, a spark plug hole there. And once I bought this motor, I spun the crank and it shot a bunch of water out all over me. So kind of just left it at that, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a bad candidate, but it's the second closest to at least being able to run other than this one, because this one is just way too far gone as well. Muffler's gone, top of the head's gone, carburetor's all off, so who knows what's inside of this thing. So I'm really hoping on that one I can kind of piece a couple of these parts together and get that one running at least, because my whole goal in the future is to at least build one of these motors to be a turbo or supercharged motor, because I would love to boost up one of these small little engines and slap it in like a go-kart chassis or a golf cart or something. So I'm really kind of just playing for the future. I'm kind of a dream project I always had, which is like a turbo go-kart or something. So this is kind of a good start, and I can hopefully build this super cheap. And if I can get one of these running, then I'm definitely going to start ordering up some parts. I'm trying to get this turboed soon, because I really want to build the engine first before I even get the chassis or any of that, because I want to make sure I'm going to have room for it all. So let me get to work on this one. I'm going to start just looking it over. I think I'm going to pull off the carb. The only thing that's really missing from this one is the pull start and the bottom of the carb here, the bowl. So that should be super easy. If anything, I can snag one off one of these motors, but I'm probably just going to pull the carb out, clean it real quick, make sure it's all good, and then probably replace the side cover as well, because I got one in the parts bin. So I got that with the pull cord, so that should be super simple. Get that slapped on there, and then check the gas tank, see if there's gas in it, and hopefully start this baby up. So let me get to work on that, and I'll kind of update you guys once I got this all tore apart and looking at it deeper. All right, I'm about probably 20 minutes in, and I think I might have kind of screwed myself on this one, but there's still a little hope, so I'm still crossing my fingers that I can still get this one motor running. But got the carb all pulled off, and this thing just does not look too hot. Only this side is really rusty. This inside part doesn't look too bad, but who knows for how long this thing's been sitting there. And I was like, okay, let me check out these carbs on this motor. Checking out this one, doesn't look too bad, about the same rust as this the other one on that motor. And then I started pulling off this one, and as you can tell from the water there, this thing was just full of water. So screwed that back on, just left it for now. So that's definitely not a candidate at all. But luckily, since I had 11 horsepower go-kart, that thing ended up needing a new carb on it, just because I ended up putting the air filter kit and doing all that. So I just upgraded the carb, and I do have the old carb from it. So I'm really hoping I can at least just slap this one on here and see if this thing will run at all. And that just saves me from spending any money buying a new carb, or even the time to clean this one and deal with all that and see if I wasted my money or not. So I'm really crossing my fingers on this one. I'm also gonna end up replacing the side cover with the pull cord, so hopefully I can just replace that real quick and then crank this thing over. But looking on the inside here is definitely, it's kind of hard for the see there, but there's a little bit of white oxidization, if I can say that right, inside of the head there. So it seems to be kind of just wipe right off and not really an issue, and just cranking this thing over. Seems to still have some good compression on it, so pretty happy about that. So let me try to get this carb on there and maybe shoot some brake clean in there. Can try to crank her up and kind of cross my fingers and hope for the best. So I ended up pulling off the gas tank to get a little bit more access to the top here, just so I can get the throttle all stuck together, just so it's not sitting here at full throttle. But I ended up replacing the front cover, and I got a pull cord on it. Thought this pull cover was gonna work, but this little inside piece does not want to throw out and kind of grab the inside of here. So this one will work. It's just a little shitty, but we'll see what happens. But got the whole new carb setup put on there, at least newer carb on there, and then I put a little intake on there just to bolt it all up. So it's kind of the moment of truth. Spray some brake clean in the carb there and see if this thing will start. So set you guys up real quick. Let's see, that should hopefully work. Don't fall over on me. Alright, spray a little brake clean down the carb. And go for it. Oh, that's a good start. Hold on, let me open the choke. Spray it. I don't want to spray too much in there. It's there. Woo! Let's go, baby! That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. So at least we know she at least will fire and run for a little bit. So I definitely want to get a gas tank on here, fill it up with some gas, and hopefully see it idle. I did check the oil in it, so it does have oil in it. So if anyone's telling me to check the oil before I tried starting it, I did already. Definitely want to change it because it looks a little gross and possibly a little bit watery. So it'll be all right just for a couple little cranks just like that. But actually running it for the full time, I'm definitely going to change it. So let me get a gas tank slapped on here and then get her filled up with some gas, maybe change the oil real quick, and we can start her up and hear her idle. So I got a gas tank all bolted up on the motor, and then I also ended up swapping out the old crusty muffler for a little bit nicer one that's not all falling apart. So got that filled up with gas, and that's all looking good. Just got to get some oil for that to get that swapped out. But I was messing around with the electric start motor. Flywheel was already off of it, so I was like, perfect. I can at least test it out, see if it all works. Got her hooked up on my jump pack here. That thing works perfectly, and luckily it came with the keys too, so I'm super happy about that. So I'm hoping I can just swap over the flywheel, electronics, and the starter onto this motor, and it'd make it so much easier to get this thing started, especially with the shitty pull cord and all that. And then especially once I actually turbo or supercharge it, it'll make it a ton easier to get it started in the beginning and trying to get it all tuned up and all that. So I think I'm actually going to start pulling all that off of this motor just to kind of get it off that motor, and then kind of just store that motor away because it's pretty much a paperweight at this point. And then I can start prepping it to get it all bolted up on this motor. And actually I'm gonna get the oil in there first so we can at least hear it idle and make sure it actually runs a little bit longer than a few seconds. So I'm gonna get the oil and then get it swapped out and we can hear this thing idle. So I ran out to the store and got some oil and got it changed out on the motor here. And everything looked pretty good. Didn't really see too much water in it, so I'm pretty happy about that. But other than that, it's kind of the moment of truth. See if this thing will run for more than just a few seconds on some brake clean. And I'm not really promising that this thing's gonna run too well, at least idling and doing all that, because I know this carb didn't run the best on the 11 horsepower motor that's on the go-kart, but you should at least see if this thing runs good and it sounds well. So moment of truth, I'm gonna get you guys set up here. Too bad right there. Now let's see if this baby will start. go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That thing runs mint. Sounds good too. So that's a perfect candidate for a turbo or supercharged. So I'm pretty happy I was able to get one running motor out of the 4 and kind of got a bunch of parts like the electric start and stuff like that. So now I know I have a good candidate for a boost project. So now I'm just figuring out if I actually want to do a supercharger or turbo. Kind of leaning towards turbo just so I don't have to worry about doing any pulleys, belts, or worrying about what's overspinning the supercharger and all that. But turbo should just be easy, build exhaust manifold and route it into the intake and kind of just see what happens. So now I gotta figure out what turbo I wanna pick. Do I do the K-Truck turbo? So if you just look up like go-kart turbo, it's like the first turbo that pops up, it's like 150 bucks, but I had to wait and kind of order it up, wait for it to come in and all that. Or I already have a 6063 that came off my yellow Miata. I ended up blowing out the oil seals already, so kind of just took it off and now I got it as a shelf ornament, but it would be a perfect candidate for this motor. It's just definitely on the bigger side. It's a little bit bigger on the side for a 4-cylinder, so it would be a little bit huge for this, but it is already all set up. Got the wastegate and everything, and I actually already have like a up pipe for it, so it would be sweet. Got half the work already done for me, and then I can already start kind of working on it, getting this all set up and mocking it up. So let me know what you guys want to see. If you want me to see a K-Truck turbo on it, or if you just want me to see that 6063 slapped on there and kind of just seeing what happens. But next video, you guys should see me slap on the electric start onto this motor, because I actually looked up on YouTube. Not a lot of people actually installed electric start on these motors because a lot of them already come with it, so it makes it easier for them. But it might help out some guys that want to put an electric start in one of these motors. So I'm going to install that and then actually get a brand new carb for this thing, because this thing doesn't like to run right, and I actually want to hear it run by itself without having to rev it up and do all that. So pick up a new carb, do all that, get the electric start on there, and should be a good little candidate for starting to turbo it up and get it ready to boost. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it's just a simple one, kind of just seeing if I got a good deal on a couple motors, and it seems like I didn't get too bad of a deal, so I'm pretty happy about that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, hope you like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.